Hey, Texas Study students. This is Coach Signs, welcoming you back to another one of our video lessons. Today's video lesson is Chapter 3 and the 4 regions of Texas. The very first region that we'll be talking about today is the Coastal Plains region. The Coastal Plains region is seen here in this light blue turquoise color on the eastern side of Texas. Now, the Coastal Plains region, guys, makes up most of East Texas, as you can see here. Now, East Texas is known as this part right here. It's very different from where we live down here in southern Texas and the Rio Grande Valley. But here in the blue and the turquoise, you can see that this consists of the Coastal Plains region. One of the things that makes this region one of the most unique regions of Texas is that it includes the coastline to the Gulf of Mexico. Now, down here, guys, right where the arrow is pointing, that's where South Padre Island is. Most of you guys have been there before, and if you haven't, it stretches all the way up into almost getting to Louisiana. This is the only region that is able to be next to a beach or to the coast, to the Gulf of Mexico, where, as you can see there, these waves represent the Gulf of Mexico, guys. The next thing that we'll be looking at, guys, is the place or the physical environment of a region. The Coastal Plains region, guys, has a very unique area in East Texas that has huge pine and oak forests. As you can see in this picture here, you're probably thinking, this is no way that this can be Texas. But yes, this is a picture of, obviously, as you can see here, the sunlight going through the trees in some of the piney woods of East Texas on the Coastal Plains, in the Coastal Plains region. Now, another one of the features of the place here in the Coastal Plains regions is that it has broad grasslands, meaning that the fields of grass that you may see around here locally. Now, another characteristic that makes this area very unique, the Coastal Plains region, is the climate. Because of the climate, guys, of this area and how close we are to the coast, this area does not get not too hot, not too cold. It just stays mild. So it's in between. Because of places like East Texas that have this type of vegetation, that's why we see this type of mild climate. Or, in our case, we see this. This is another reason why we have a mild climate, because of how close we live to the Gulf of Mexico. As you can see in this picture, this is a picture of South Padre Island, the strip, right? Now, this area is very different to where we live here in Mission. This area always receives a lot of Gulf wind, very fresh. But us here in the interior of the Coastal Plains region, we see a lot of heat and very, very humid. Now, the next part of the Texas region that we'll be talking about is the North Central Plains. The North Central Plains, located here in this green area of our map. The North Central Plains, guys, start and roam here in the center of Texas and go all the way up into this area here, into the northern borders of Texas. These North Central Plains, guys, like I had just stated, are very, very unique because they're literally in the heart of Texas and go all the way north, almost into these different areas that make it a very unique region of Texas. Now, guys, the North Central Plains place or physical environment is known for its rolling hills and plains with very few rivers. As you can see in this picture, guys, the hills not only are here in front, but you can see in the back how they continue just to roll and roll and roll all the way into the end of this picture. Now, another characteristic of the North Central Plains, or the climate, right, the expected weather over time, it has hot but short summers, guys, and cold winters. The next region that we'll be studying about is the Great Plains region. The Great Plains region, guys, is right here in this this red area right here. It's a long, weird shaped looking region. This is known as the Great Plains region. The physical environment of, or the place of the Great Plains region, guys, is mostly flat lands, as you can see here in this area, guys. Very flat, but great for farming and things of that nature, and vegetation and agriculture, right? But it's mostly a flat land to where you can see for miles. But because it also is close to the north central plains, it has great hilly regions and hill country near Austin. As you can see in this picture, guys, this is Austin, Texas, back in the here in the background, at the capital. As you can see, here are the hills that go along the Great Plains, and also right here into Austin, Texas. Now, the expected weather over time, or the climate in the Great Plains region, are hot and long summers, and you can expect cold winters. The fourth and final region that we'll be talking about, guys, is the region in yellow. Is the farthest west region of Texas, and is this area right here, and is known as the Mountains and Basins region. Now, the physical environment, or the place, right, of the Mountains and Basins region is mostly desert, shrub, mountains, and dry basins. Dry basins, guys, are sunken in areas. As you can see in this picture, guys, there's a lot of dry area, dry shrub, very little vegetation, right? Now, as you can see in this picture, guys, this picture is the highest point in Texas, the tallest point rock in Texas. This peak is known as Guadalupe's Peak, guys, and is the tallest point in the state of Texas. Now, the expected weather over time in the Mountains and Basins region is hot and short summers, cold winters, and dry with very little rainfall. As you can see in this picture, guys, it doesn't look like it rains very much. It's very dry, and the vegetation here is very, very little. The next thing that we're going to discuss, guys, is the population in Texas regions. Okay? And the biggest question that we need to ask ourselves is, why do people move to certain areas or regions of Texas? The first one that it has to do with, guys, is geography. Now, we talked about geography in chapter 1 vocabulary, right? It was a study of Earth, its physical features, and its people. Now, the second part of geography, guys, is physical geography. Now, the first part of geography that will determine the population in the Texas region is physical geography. Physical geography, guys, is the natural features of the earth. For example, people will move close to a beach or to a river, or certain people will want to move closer to a desert or a mountain or a hill area. This is what physical geography means, guys. It means that the natural features of Earth where people would want to move to. The second part of that is human geography. Now, human geography, guys, is how humans affect the Earth, right? We can see here in this picture of the outside of Austin how humans have affected the Earth in this area. We can see the buildings in the back. We can see the roads / bridge and the steel used to build this bridge, and how we have affected this area to help ourselves live better in this area or of Texas. Another thing that determines how humans affect the earth or the population of an area with human geography has to do with religion of that area. The next one that will determine the population of a Texas region will be work opportunity. Now, people are not going to move if they don't have an opportunity to make a living or have a job, right? So the biggest thing that will affect where people will live according to their region will be the work opportunities like the people in this picture working will have. Now, the third thing that determines where the population or where people want to live in Texas regions has to do with climate. Now, as you can see in this picture, guys, this is not the climate that we would have in our area, right? If someone of your family members or even yourself in the future look to live in an area that has or looks like this, then you're looking more at the Central Plains region. right? But if you want to stay far, far away from it, guys, then you need to live down here in the Rio Grande Valley. Now, guys, remember, climate is the expected weather over time. Now, you guys can see that snow, it's very rare down here, but it has happened, but that is not our expected weather. The fourth and final reason why people choose to live, or where the population is determined in the Texas region, guys, is by natural resources. As you can see here in these two pictures, guys, people may choose to live close to a river for one, either to drink, for water purposes, to drink and be able to use and live close by, and it's easier, right? Rivers are even used for some rivers are even used for transportation. Or two, as you can see here, guys, in the oil field, Texas is a huge producer of oil, and many people choose to live close to the oil fields where they produce a lot of money in these areas. Now, just if you were wondering, guys, this picture right here is a Texas river. This is the Frio River in Garner State Park, guys. So if you ever want to go there, tell your parents, hey, take me to Garner State Park. Now, guys, this concludes our video lesson on Chapter 3, the 4 regions of Texas. This is Coach Science, signing out.